Hi, it's Jon Mitchell, Mayor of New Bedford, and this is another installment of the Mayor's Weekly Update. So I have a few things to talk about this week. Let's start with COVID, of course. Cases continue to go up. Almost all of it is the Delta variant, and people are dying in the city of COVID. We can't sugarcoat that fact. It's very sad. In the last month, we've had 10 deaths of New Bedford residents from COVID. All of them, all 10, were people who were unvaccinated. And if there's any reminder out there that the vaccines work, it's that. That is about as compelling proof as you could possibly get that the vaccines are necessary. So, look, you've heard it from me before. Again, the vaccines are out there. Check out the website for clinics. We have a number of them coming up, places like Loretta Burke Park and others in the South End coming up real soon, but they're all over the city. That's in addition to the pharmacies, that's in addition to the medical providers out there. The vaccine is readily available. And if you have any doubts about it, still, I just suggest you talk to your doctor about it as you would with any other medication that you might take. Let's turn to the American Rescue Plan, ARPA as it's called. That is the stimulus bill that Congress passed back in March. So if you recall, the city is getting about $64 million in funding directly from the federal government to help with a number of things, to invest, to help with the recovery from the pandemic. And there are a number of things that we can't spend the money on, including roads and a few other things, but there is a wide variety of items that we can invest in. I want to make sure that we're getting all the best ideas. I want to make sure that our residents are participating, and one way to do it is by filling out the survey on the city's website. We've gotten a few hundred of those. I encourage people to continue to do that. There are public meetings coming up next week. Check out the city's website for that. They'll be on Zoom. But if you have anything you want to share, just go ahead and send me an email, call my office, just one way or the other, just let us know what you're thinking. The next thing I want to talk about is we've heard a little bit about the offshore wind industry of late, and there was a big milestone this week. The Vineyard Wind project, which is America's first industrial scale offshore wind project to be deployed from the Port of New Bedford, closed on its financing. Now, what that means practically is it's kind of like buying a house. The bank has lent you money, and now with that money you can go buy the house. It means, practically speaking, that for all the obstacles, despite all the obstacles along the way, the folks, the institutions that are actually putting money at risk with Vineyard Wind have said, you know what, it's time that we go forward. So it's a significant milestone. It really makes the project real. The project will start construction next year and will continue on for the 18 months thereafter. And so there'll be lots of activity. We want to make sure that the largest portion of the $2.3 billion project as possible will be spent here in New Bedford. We've set up something called the New Bedford Ocean Cluster, which is an organization that will help businesses connect with Vineyard Wind so that they can get a piece of the action. Our job is to make sure that New Bedford residents get the highest opportunity possible with the offshore wind industry. We're committed to it. We want to make sure that everybody knows about it. So stay tuned for announcements about that. But if you have a business that might do work in the offshore wind industry, you should call the New Bedford Ocean Cluster and find out more. The last thing I just want to say is fall sports have started. High school sports are back to pretty much normal now. Remember last year there were some sports that were eliminated, some sports that were pushed off to the spring. In all cases, kids were wearing masks. Sometimes there were rules changes that made the sports to avoid disease transmission that made things a little odd. They're all playing again, and so I just want to just encourage everybody to support your local high school sports teams whichever high school you're loyal to. Go ahead and support that. If your children or your grandchildren are in in a particular high school. I'm sure you're going to those games already. I think one of the great things about living in Greater New Bedford are all the sports rivalries. It's really a big part of who we are, and all the interconnectedness, the rivalries that go back, generations now, or something that makes living here really fun. So I hope to see you out at some of those games this fall, cheering on your team. With that, this has been the Mayor's Weekly Update. We'll see you next week.